Hey everyone, what's up? What's up? Happy Sunday. I should say Women's Championship Sunday. We got a lot to talk about. We got Arkels. We got a special guest that's already here with us, and he is live from the Big Ten Women's Tournament. So we're going to get his perspective of what the weekend has been, and we just gonna get it popping. So I am excited to be on. It's been a lot going on in the sports world. We have had some, even with the community across the globe, with the conflict with Russia and Ukraine, but we gonna get it popping. So, hey, what's up, Arkels? What's up? What's up?
Hey, what's going on, sports world? How's everybody holding up today?
Hey, what's up? We fine, but you know what? We gotta put it out there. We talk sports from a fan's perspective. So we talk some trash, we get it in. So it's almost like bringing the barbershop to the virtual world. So hang on tight. We got about an hour and a half with us. Get your drink, get it. Turn on your TV if you watching some sports and hang with Sportz Wine and Brew. So our first special guest, who is live from the Big Ten Women's Tournament. I'm going to let you introduce himself to you. Tell us a little bit about what he does in the community in the city of Columbus, and what is the happenings around the Big Ten Women's Tournament, and who is playing in this championship.
Hey everybody, this is Okan reporting for Sportz Media, also for the New American Magazine. But it's my first time covering the tournament. I have to say it was every expectation was correct. Thank you, Tyan, for introducing me to this incredible journey. Yesterday, unfortunately, Ohio State, that we cover for men and women, but Ohio State women's basketball did not prevail, and they lost to Indiana, who will be playing today against Iowa. So expect an incredible matchup between the two teams. I know everybody's talking about Kathleen Clark, who is obviously the Conference Player of the Year for the conference, and also potential National Player of the Year. She has 27 points per game, leads the nation in assists, also has 8 rebounds per game. So pretty much that's the news around Big Ten. Everybody's watching to see what she'll be able to do, but she's not the only one on the team that is, bringing the firepower. One of the things that she said that is so true is a lot of people look at stats, but you have to consider that other players on the team, they do so much without getting the national recognition. So Iowa and Indiana would be a good game.
So what has been your favorite, like your memorable moment? What's been one of your favorite memorable moments this weekend? I should say this week because the tournament started on Wednesday.
I think obviously the back and forth competition between Ohio and Indiana was a game to watch. I know originally the first time that Ohio State played Indiana, they lost by 20 points. I believe that was December 12th. So the fact that they only lost by like 8-7, they lost by 6 points, I believe. It shows the growth and adjustment that Coach Kevin McCullough has made. I know everybody talk about Taylor McSell and J.C. Sheldon, but other players on the team, like I was saying earlier, Conference Player of the Year, Clark said that there's a bunch of people on the team that's always making a difference. So one of the things that I enjoy about it is the fact that they didn't lose by 20. But the biggest surprise, though, is Michigan. I don't know what happened. They were expected to. Sorry, Robert. I have to go there, man. I know. That was the biggest surprise.
Let's keep this professional, Khan. Let's keep this professional.
I am. That was the biggest shock of the tournament. That I know they were rated number 6 all season, but for them to lose back to back, it's just it was shocking. I mean, even the game that they lost was a back-and-back competition, but the fact that they didn't pull through, it's shocking by itself.
And that's how it was. That was one of my overall the adjustments. Michigan wasn't able to make adjustments, even with the number one player, with Nas, and they shut her completely down that game. And I don't think they adjusted very well. So what do you think is going to happen today? Because you got Indiana and you have the hometown team, and then you have Iowa, who's for me was like the sleeper. I called them like the X factor this whole entire tournament. So what do you think is going to happen, and what do you think their score is going to be? And I'm gonna give you a chance for the other, cast members to kind of jump in and ask a question before we, get you going to the game.
I believe that. So the prediction of the game, I believe Indiana is going to pull it off. The reason why is when they played Ohio State, it was well balanced. You had people drive. For one, Ohio State, I believe, committed 22 fouls on Indiana, so that's the problem. If Indiana can continue to drive inside because they have a well balanced team, they have outside. When I wrote my article, one of the things I said is guard presence is really important when it comes to this high intensity championship game. So I believe that it's going to be about maybe prediction wise. I know they're going to look probably Iowa will probably lose by 6 or 7 points, but it could be a close game. I do think that Clark will probably not have a high game because when she played against Nebraska yesterday, she dropped 41 points. But the game before that, she only had 19 points. So if they can shut her down, they have a great chance of winning Indiana. But if Iowa was to win, other players, there was another player, I can't think of a name right now, I apologize. If
Caitlin?
there's if 2 or 3 other players on Iowa step up, I think it will not only take the pressure of Clark, but it will also help other players within the team. So I expect a high energy game. I expect Indiana to pull it off, but I will not be surprised if Iowa walk out of here holding that title. But one more thing, they didn't win last year, so they're coming back with a vengeance.
Cool.
All right, fellas. So, hey, what's up, crew? So the crew is on. The crew is on. So, hey,
What up?
so kind of wanted to, we have Okan. He is live at the Big Ten Women's Tournament. They are getting ready for the Indiana against Iowa championship matchup. Whoever wins punches their ticket automatically into the NCAA Women's Tournament. So, kind of wanted to open up to, if you wanted to ask some questions really quick of your perspective of the tournament.
I do. And Sports Kills, I appreciate you always giving us an opportunity to bring on such fantastic hosts like Mr. Okan. So, Mr. Okan, I did take time in yesterday and watched the Indiana game, Ohio State game. One thing I saw that was interesting, Indiana plays very, very good defense. There was a point during the game where they said Ohio State was like one of the top 3-point shooting teams.
Yes, shut them down.
The Big Ten, and they kind of like shut us down. So how do you think that defense is going to carry over? Is that what you banking their win on, their defense, or is there other stuff?
Iowa, they shoot also a high percentage threes. Sheldon, I believe, yesterday she was 2 out of 7, and Taylor Maxell, that has I think 48.6 3-point percentage. She was 0 and 5. Even what's his name, Rebecca from Sylvania. She went 0 and 3, so they completely shut down the 3-point lane. So if they can do that, they have a great opportunity to continue to execute and stop Clark and the rest of the other teams.
Yeah, Indiana. And OSU's for me was that OSU always starts slow. And then they get that momentum. Like for me, Poole stepped up. She really stepped up big when they took JC out of the lineup, going to the basket. Poole kind of stepped up, which I was surprised because usually she's always kind of like she plays the back, but she really played aggressive yesterday. But again, OSU, and they're slow starting, and you can't do that when you go to the next level. What I'm saying, tournament time, you got to be out the gate. And I think this what gave Indiana an advantage, because that one time they were 12 points up. And once they were up, Ohio State has to play so hard to catch up. And that's why I felt was a decision.
I think one of the adjustment that the coach Kevin needs to make is, I know because of injury, Sheldon had to play the point guard, but if someone else can lead that charge, because she's more one of those catch and release, so her trying to balance that equation of becoming the primary shooter and the point guard, I'm not saying that she can't do it, but it's difficult. So that's one of the things I saw, because you can see her number drop whenever she took the point guard position, right?
Right. All right, fellas. Anybody else, fellas? Any other questions you'd like to ask?
I got Iowa winning.
Yeah, I think Iowa's gonna pull it off too. I'm gonna tell you, Con, that
I got Iowa winning.
That Caitlin Clark, man, she's the call getting machine. Yeah, if she gets rolling, the other players feed off of her. And I watched them the other night, and man, they really get the ball moving and swinging, getting open shots and easy buckets. So if they play in that mode the way I watched them the other night, they're gonna walk this game pretty easy, in my opinion.
Yeah, that fast break, Iowa's fast break. Once they get on the fast break and they get a hold of you, it's a wrap. Slows you down. So if Indiana can't hold on to that fast break, it's a wrap.
Yeah, I think if it comes down to a half court game, then they might have a shot. But if they get out and
I agree about.
Yeah, if they get out and get them lanes going like they usually do, Iowa's gonna walk out of there, I would say, with a 15-point win with no problem.
So what do you guys think will need to happen? Because Indiana has not taller players, but they have players on the inside that can dominate, and I believe that was a problem for Ohio State.
Man, if they can get into the half, if they can slow it down and play a half court game, they can slow it down. But if it comes to them just coming down, running and gunning, Iowa's going to win that game. If they can get into their set, Indiana might have a chance. If they don't, Iowa is going to walk that through. It's going to be a walk off.
Hey Troy, you know what? I'm agreeing.
I think for me, I agree. And for me, I think it's because Iowa, this is their third time, their third shot. And I think I say revenge served cold. I think they this tournament was dominant. And a lot she was first seed, Michigan was third seed, and they both got knocked out. So I think now Iowa is able to reemerge again and really have a place and go into the tournament with a great lead and a great just a conversation about, because I know the coach talked about it in all the post interviews, was that we are thankful for being here, but now they're going to have to show, they're going to have to see us. Like she talked about that all the time. Like now you're going to have to put us in that conversation that they hadn't done in so many years because they weren't able to finish the job. So I think for them is that this third shot is giving them another chance to show again that Iowa is the dominant team in the Big Ten for women's. And now if we can, create and win, especially having Clark, we are going to win this game. But yes, Indiana has some tall players and they shoot from the perimeter. I think Iowa will have to make it small, use the point guards to, make it a game. And I think if they get out fast, which they have done throughout this whole entire tournament, they're going to win. I say about 5. I say 5 points.
Now, I do have a question for y'all. Besides today's game, which one of the teams that lost that can make a deep threat in the NCAA tournaments beside Indiana and Iowa?
I had to say Michigan.
Okay.
What did you say again?
I said Michigan.
You said Michigan?
And you based that on what, Troy?
Just because I think they're a more complete team, honestly. From what I saw, I think that as far as Iowa has that one player, but they still got some dogs down there low. But Michigan, they seem like a more complete team. Based on what I saw. So that's my opinion. Y'all put
I can go on with that. I think of course it is an opinionated question. We don't. But I always say in this tournament, I look at who can get hot. You know what I'm saying? Who can get hot?
You're right.
And it's just, but I agree with you. I mean, far as top to bottom, I have to go with Michigan. But I want to see a dark horse come out of it. Somebody that didn't have a shot to get in the tournament, but won their way in. So
who your dark horse, Neil?
I think mine would be Nebraska. If you're talking about women in the Big Ten.
So your dark horse women, Neil.
My dark horse women, I'm gonna have to go with Nebraska too. For the few games I did see, they had the ability in both men and women. These tournaments come down to guard play.
Mm-hmm.
Guard play don't come into effect until this tournament for some reason, because it's a time game. It's a lot of stress. It's a lot of pressure. And if your guard can contain and set the pace for the team, 9 times out of 10, that's the team that has the upper hand. Michigan has, they got a shot. I mean, I'm gonna take my Michigan hater glasses off, and just call it like it is.
Yeah, it's hard, but I agree with you.
It's hard.
And the men's, are we saying who we saying? I know we kind of talked about both.
We're gonna get to the men. Our Kales are like this.
Yeah, all right, I leave it right here. My bad.
We're gonna get to the men.
I'm
get there, that's a whole other piece.
Neil said something interesting though. Neil said the team to get hot. So Iowa just won their last 6 games. And so I don't know if they peak too early. Sometimes you can peak too early and you fizzle out. Now, if they carry that same momentum and they get a big win today, they could certainly be a problem. But I'm not going to count the Buckeyes out yesterday. They're big, they're athletic. You know what I mean? They can shoot. You know what I mean? And it's not all about one player. They got collective folks on that team who can shoot. And that's going to make the difference. So it's not just about getting streaky. They got the right parts.
Tanya, we need to write these picks down.
I was going to say some stuff today, though.
Yeah, and I say that too, Gooch, about OSU. Yesterday was even though they lost, it was great to see different players like Poole. I'm gonna go back to her. This whole season she has done well, but she emerged as a leader yesterday. When JC them couldn't get them shots, she emerged and she was going to the bucket. And like you said, as you move forward, going to what Cyberdog says, when you're in a tournament, it's so many different factors. You have, sometimes when you're playing your home team, you get used to the ref. When you on tournament, it's like a level playing field. So you have to really understand like who you are. Like you said, and a lot of the high point players, they kind of fizzle. And some of these young players who never really got a chance, they rise. I don't know what it is, but you see these young players and players that we would never see on the court rise. And whereas like Nas, she completely, to me, flatlined on Friday. And everybody talked about sometimes I think, media and just all the different constraints get into your head and you start second guessing your play. And so today's game, again, is be a hot game. And on the move with Sports Kales Media, we are excited. We will be covering the Final Four in Minneapolis. So the Sportz Wine and Brew will be there covering the event. Bringing you all the updates, all the hot topics and interviews. I know Akan probably just left because I know it's 4:00 tip off for the Big Ten tournament. So again, if they whoever wins between those two teams gets their punch. So hey fellas, you're gonna take this ride with me and Okan all the way to Minneapolis, Minnesota, because we rolling for the women's Final Four. So we got the crew. So RKLs, let's go. So do some introductions. Let's get it popping. So Okan, we're gonna bring him back in a few. Probably have time to give us some updates, what's happening. He might be able to show us a little bit what's going on. And RKLs, take it away.
Well, fellas, it's another big day in sports world, so we got our lineup. So let's get this rolling. Let's make it fun like we always do. And, Let's put our feet on the carpet and let's challenge each other with these questions today. Because there's some topics Neil popped in today, and I want to hear it today. I want to hear it.
You know what,
Let's
Neil?
go.
I love it. The different perspectives of y'all all bringing, and we all, again, when I saw his questions, I said, "Oh God, Cyberdog gonna be he gonna be the nemesis for all of us today."
Right.
So let's get these
Whenever you want me to
rolling.
get started, let me know, Diva. Let me know.
Hey, we ready. It's all you. You the
All
show
right,
host. You the
all right,
lead.
all right. So the first thing, now this is one I added that I didn't get chance to list. It happened last night, fresh off the press.
Oh boy.
Brian James.
Oh boy.
Leads the LA Lakers out of the
Oh
depths
boy.
of the ground and dropped 56 at 38 years old. Kelly, when you was 38 years old 30 years ago, you couldn't do nothing like that.
Neil.
Neil, where are we going with this?
Let's start it. Hey, I had
make them angry. You gonna talk some trash?
I had the Lakers on the bottom. Will they make the playoffs? And I'm gonna answer that question right now. Yes.
Would the Lakers make the playoffs?
Yes.
Okay. They gonna be happy just to make the play-in tournament. They might make the play-in tournament. The playoffs, they need to just not even think about the playoffs right now.
All right.
LeBron,
this is about to pop off. I'm gonna get my wine and my brew right quick.
When I saw that game, I know.
How much wear and tear you
That
gonna put
game
on that?
meant absolutely nothing. And when Gooch get back, I'm gonna give you the reason why and why he can never be labeled the GOAT. So I'm gonna give it to you right now. Why Gooch is, Gooch pouring his drink.
Go
Look, that little fiasco last night he did was orchestrated because his feelings was hurt. He was left off a list as being a prolific scorer. That's why he went off last night. And
if he was left off that list, I'm gonna stop you right there. If he was left off that list,
stop me right there.
Who in the hell wrote the list in the first damn place?
Look, we ain't getting into all that. All I know is, as usual, his feelings is always intertwined in his career. Where if he was a big time baller, he would not need nobody nudging him or smacking him on his ass and saying, "Pick your shit up and get your game moving." Hey, that's the only reason he did that last night. And then the next thing, you just hold your brakes there. The next thing is, how do you put out in the air that you're gonna quit on your team? Now, do you think Air Jordan, regardless of record or what's going on, you talking about calling it the season because y'all at the bottom of the cellar? Come on, man. That's why I cannot put LeBron James as in the top 5. Man, he's so weak-minded and so self-absorbed. It is just sickening.
All right.
Okay. All right. We're going to put Arkells on ice. We're going to put Arkells on ice.
Give him some medicine. Give him some medicine too, okay?
You need some medicine. You need a new prescription. That's what you need. You need a new prescription of glasses.
As a resident fan of the Lakers on this podcast, and Bob, we talked about this years ago. What did I tell you? I said LeBron's going to set this team back years. They got that bubble. They got that bubble victory. They sold to the devil for him to be the GM, which is fine. He gets caught up in his feelings, which is fine. Everybody does, but
it ain't fine.
Your question was, Neil, are they going to make the playoffs? My answer is yes. They'll make the playoffs, but they got to at least get to the play-in game. If they get to the play-in game and have to play like Denver, they're not going to make the playoffs. No, they're not. So it just depends on who they play in the play-in game. They make it to the playoff playing game.
Is Anthony Davis coming back?
My head is over here just getting hot.
He'll be back for about 1 or 2 games until he gets hurt again.
Yep, he'll go out again.
Well, my question is he coming back? That's all I want.
Yeah, he's coming back. He's coming back.
Okay.
The problem
y'all know how this works.
The problem is not Anthony Davis. Well, it is because he gets hurt. The problem is because It's Russell Westbrook. Okay. Russell Westbrook is the problem.
Oh my gosh.
I agree.
Oh my God. No.
Russell Westbrook is that the problem? Have y'all seen
Russell Westbrook is like putting a daggone circle in a daggone triangle. It don't fit. And they stuck with him. They are stuck with him.
Russell Westbrook ain't the problem. They should never recruited him from the very beginning. I don't even know where he even came in the picture. And I think
GM LeBron James orchestrated all that.
GM James. I'm also surprised that the coach is there.
All I got to say is, and I want to speak to the resident Laker fan.
Yes.
Did LeBron bring y'all a championship? Yes or no?
Yes, he bought us a bubble championship.
I mean, no, there's no asterisk.
There's no asterisk
next to it. It's a championship.
He bought us a championship. Yes.
Thank you. Okay.
Can I join in, Sports D?
Go ahead. I'm
just sitting over here patiently. Here's a toast to the GOAT, and I'm talking about LeBron James.
Oh,
yeah, there you go.
You just spilled your drink on your good carpet. You just spilled your drink on your good carpet.
Let me just jump in and tell
Hold
you
on, Ken Anderson.
And how happy we should be to witness the greatness of LeBron James, 37 years old. I think Cyberdog brought this earlier. I want y'all to think about Mr. Robert Kelly at 37. I knew him then. He was not throwing up 50 picks. He was not coming down the lane slamming dunks on folks. He was not going 25.
I ain't 6'8" either.
Right? None of that stuff.
You became a jump shooter at that point.
We underestimate what we are witnessing right now. LeBron James is the greatest I've ever seen. Now,
that's right.
There's two things that was said earlier. One, I'm gonna get to Troy right quick. What's the deal with the asterisk in the bubble, man? Do you realize it's probably tougher to play in that bubble as far as sacrifice and staying mentally strong than it would be to go and play in your own backyard?
I never said it was an asterisk. I just said it was a bubble championship. That's all I said. They won a championship in the bubble.
But your it's a negative narrative behind you saying it's a bubble. Why isn't it just a championship? Can you please explain, Mr. Troy? Can you explain why you have to say bubble instead of just saying championship?
I think in the bubble, I think it was a lot of distractions. I don't think it was a great, portrayal of a championship. That's just me. I'm a Lakers fan. I'll take it and run. So I'll take it. I do not disagree about LeBron being top 5. Bob was wrong on that. He's definitely top 5.
Thank you, Troy. That's his hate. He can't help himself. I'm gonna pray for
you. No, that ain't my hate. It's my. Go ahead, Gooch. Go ahead, Gooch.
LeBron from
hey, can y'all acknowledge Al Glaze topic? I mean, is mentioned. Do y'all agree with that real quick? I just want to bring Al Glaze in. He said Westbrook is a problem and he needs to come off the bench. Troy, what you got to say about that?
I agree. Let him come off the bench and see what he can do with the second team. He's not doing it with the first team. I'd rather see Carmelo start than Westbrook.
Right.
I'll take him. Shit.
Well,
on a real.
I just want to get one last point in to Mr. Kelly.
Please bring it.
We paint this picture of Michael Jordan like he never lost. Michael Jordan was getting swept left and right before Scottie Pippen came and Horace Grant and all them other guys that came put together a team. Hang on, look at you about to jump out your seat. Just go ahead and sit down for a little bit longer. I'll be done. And we also forget when the going got a little tough, he retired for a year now. Whether he was in some stuff or whatever, don't matter. But he left. Now LeBron, everywhere he's gone, he's been a winner. No man has dominated the Eastern Conference like LeBron James. He went to the finals how many times? 10 times. He owned that conference. And he didn't retire. Carry on.
Thank you.
All right, look, we're gonna wrap this up.
If y'all want to see how it was really like as far as my team, the Lakers, go watch HBO at 9 p.m. for the documentary of the winning team series.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
With Magic Johnson.
Own it.
And now that's what that was the Lakers to me. That's what I grew up watching. The winning team. Tonight with Jerry Buss, Kareem.
Look, the only thing I'm going to say about LeBron is he just does not have that motor. He has to be gouged, pushed, like he went off, that little article got wrote about him, talking about he was pissed about that. That's why he did what he did yesterday. As a person that's dominant out on that floor, you need to come out and kill every night. You don't need nobody kicking you in the leg, boosting your little ego. Come out and be a killer every night. That's why I be so disenchanted with him.
But Kel,
because he just don't have that drive, man.
Do you think we're asking a lot of this man at 37 to play at this level? I think he's doing a lot at his age, playing at this level. At some point, you're going to need have you sat and watched him the last couple games prior to this? His energy level has been in the toilet. Plays where he could come off the weak side to help defend the shot. He just standing there looking. He wasn't doing jack up until that report came out and so-called stepped on his little hurt feelings, and that's why he revved his engine up.
That's
the reason he got that 56. I promise you.
Right, but no, Arkells, I think it's different now is because, like Troy said, in the 80s and the 90s, there was no social media. There was no interaction with fans like it is now. Right. With LeBron being at a place that he is now, I think why sometimes his feelings come out is because fans are now able to have just a presence in a athlete's life where, Michael Jordan, he didn't have that. He had the shoe, he had the commercial side, but not the player side. You talking about these athletes are going on the field every day. They're able to hackle. They're throwing things. I think sometimes you are going to get in your feelings. And with LeBron being the position that he has been, he is the face of the NBA.
He's staying in feelings.
All the feelings. Go around. I get it. He is the killer. He's supposed to be this. But also you're human. And then you lay a factor of digital presence that is on the field now. I'm going back with an educator perspective. The digital presence. When I look at a game, you see fans in the stands allowing to do things that they never done before. When you were a fan, you went to see the game. Now you're able to talk trash, throw things. You're able to, get in physical altercations. It's like you almost on a war field. So you can't even sometimes play.
LeBron got an old lady tossed out last week because she cussed at him.
That's my perspective. I look at the game when I see LeBron.
Stop it. He got an 85-year-old lady tossed out last week.
This question is for the diva. This question is for the diva. Have we ever in the history of the NBA asked a 37-year-old man to carry a team? And just the fact that we even expect him to carry a team at that age shows how great he is.
No.
Okay, I'll give you that.
In the 80s and 90s, you had like how Shaq and you had Kobe, you had Jordan, you had Pippen. There was like a camaraderie of people that helped you. LeBron, every time LeBron goes to a team, and I know it's because he wants to, he is like literally carrying the team. There ain't what I want to call the supporting cast. He have supporting cast like Lakers. Even in Cleveland, he had people like one here, that wasn't really, he's carrying the team. So I think at 37, I think everything he's done, I think it's all coming. And now you're looking at his son coming. And yes, some of the comments that LeBron has made in the past 20 years sometimes comes back to haunt him because social media has a presence in taking what he says and they bring it to the court when he comes playing. So like fans,
I'm putting the mask on. I'm catching the virus from this conversation.
Hey, Neil, back to your original question. Back to your original question, will they make the playoffs? If LeBron gets hurt, no.
Okay.
The way he's carrying them now, they could make the play-in. Remember, he spent $1 million on his body every year.
Right.
To carry the team. Magic Johnson, he spent $1 million on coke. He still got 5 rings. LeBron got 4.
Hey, is LeBron a legitimate MVP candidate?
Yes, he is.
Okay.
Yes.
He could be he could be up in the MVP conversation every year. They just won't give it to him every year.
Yeah. And I don't think they're gonna get right. Sure, I don't think they're gonna give it to him.
Oh hell.
All right.
All right, we're moving right along.
Where we going now?
Well, y'all took a lot of time.
Y'all go to HBO tonight at 9:00 to see how it was really done.
We're gonna check. That's on the books right there. We're gonna definitely make that a topic. Whoever got the topics next week, let's talk about that.
Yeah, got them topics.
All right. Let's shoot on over. Stats. We stand in the Midwest. Let's shoot to the city of Indianapolis, Indiana, where this week they had the NFL Draft Combine. Or the NFL Combine. Excuse me, we'll call it the draft. NFL Combine. I watched it Thursday, Friday, a little bit on Saturday. I saw some talent, some real talent. This year, it won't be, as they say, the quarterback year, but it's the year that you could build your roster. And I got to throw it out there. 2 OSU receivers really showed some promise. Garrett Wilson was already in the top 5. Chris Olave shook everything up when he ran that 4.32. So I just want to throw that out there. And it's just not about OSU receiver. Let's just talk about the NFL Combine, who your dark picks, who you think stock went up, stock went down. Just kind of looking at your own team, how your team fit.
What about that defensive tackle who ran a 4.8 at 340 pounds?
340.
Right.
Yes. I'm glad you brought that up, Troy. Jordan Davis out of Georgia. Now, I'm going to let you get back to this, Troy. I just got to intervene here for a hot second. Now, when he ran his 40 time, they are doing now where they had Baker Mayfield and Jonas and Winston running their 40 like in a 3D. And he smoked both of them. And as a GM, as soon as I seen that, I'd have called Baker Mayfield, continue your commercials because we are finished. You got a dude that's 341 pounds, 6'6", and outrunning you in the 40, and you can't throw. Bye-bye.
He 100 pounds
more.
Just
get on Baker Mayfield. First of all, you sit up there with your Bengals jacket on. Then you had the Bengals COVID-19 mask. You ain't wear your COVID-19 mask.
Y'all was feeling contagious.
But I'm gonna leave it alone right there. I'm gonna leave that alone.
We'll leave it alone.
Get back to it, Troy.
I've never seen a big boy run like that before, so I don't see why he's not number 1 pick. I think the Michigan linebacker they say is gonna be number 1 pick, and the defense is gonna be number 2 pick.
Yeah, he gonna.
But I think Olave with that top 5 and 40 of all time, I think he just boosts himself up at least top 15 because they was projecting him almost into the first round, into the second round. So
yeah, definitely.
You know,
it was good. It was good to see OSU.
I didn't know he had that. To be honest with you, I didn't know he had that type speed on him.
I didn't either, Troy. I did not.
Well, look, he wasn't the top factor in that 40 time. It was Tyquan Thornton out of Baylor ran a 4.28. Kid named Jones out of Tennessee ran a 4.34. Then you got Maryland player ran a 4.34. DeMonte Milton. Then you got Garrett Wilson and Chris Olave 4.38, 4.39. So they finished up 8-9 as far as the 40 times.
What position is the boy from Baylor?
The receiver. All of those guys I named are receivers.
But I want to throw this in though. So we see these cats come in and run these very low 40 speeds every year. The Browns picked up some cat from Auburn last year. I think he ran like a 4.29 or some ridiculous thing. I think what to separate the difference is cats like Garrett Wilson, Chris Olave, they are route technicians. Just because you fast don't mean you're going to be able to get open. And that's why I think you see the guy from Baylor, he hasn't been mentioned all year until he ran the 40. So I'm just saying.
You're 100% right, Gooch.
The 40 is overrated. And that's why you see Wilson and Olave, and I think there was another gentleman that's been brought up a lot because they know how to slow down and they know how to run under control.
And Goose, to your point, they're not even going to get drafted top 10. Well, Garrett probably will. The boy from USC going to be probably the first receiver to come off the board, and he ain't running a 4.8. Is he? What did he run? What did London run?
Tell you.
I don't know what
that. I don't know.
He was like a 4
He didn't make the top 10.
The boy from USC going to be the first wide receiver off the board. He the first wide receiver off the board. They just, like I said, Gooch, I agree with you. I think the 40-yard dash is overrated because he's not even, it don't mean, it just mean how fast you are, whatever. But
I want to say this though, you got it.
But you're not going to run no straight away.
Well, I want to say this.
The 40-yard dash almost like a home fun.
Hey, the Browns proved that the 40-yard dash don't matter. They drafted Baker Mayfield.
Watch your language. That's pretty funny. But I want to, Baker. But you know what? We talking about Baker right now, and this is off. This is what we call a parking lot because this wasn't on the original, list of topics. But I'm going to put this right here on tape.
Okay.
Baker Mayfield will throw for 4,000 plus yards next year, 28 touchdowns, 5 interceptions.
Oh, let's put that a bet right now. How much? How much? Let's do it.
That's the side. That's
right,
the side.
Tanya, write this down. Write this down.
Make sure you tell everybody.
Tanya. Hey, Neil, repeat them numbers. Tanya, write that down.
Please. I got 100 on it. How much?
Okay. I'll say it again. I'll say it again. 4,000 plus passing.
Okay.
26 touchdowns. 7 interceptions.
26. You said 28.
Okay.
At first you said 28.
Neil mentioned 4,000 yards and 26 touchdowns in the USFL. He goes never for the NFL season. I feel you, Neil. The USFL starts like next week or some crazy stuff. We're gonna bring that up.
Are we putting money on this? Neil, are we putting money on this?
Right now. I'll wait.
You see, I'm scratching. We put money on it.
Not yet. Next year.
Not yet.
September.
Baker, man.
You gonna put them type of stats out there, you gonna put no Luke down?
I'll take it.
That's right. He gonna do it.
Thanks for texting that, Tanya. I see the text. Yeah, we got it on record. $100.
I got it on record.
There it is. All right, and then my next thing, moving right along. The MLB, will they start their season? What's up with Major League Baseball? Do we have some baseball fans on this forum here?
Yes.
I hope they stay out. I ain't worried about them.
Okay, so you're not a baseball fan. We don't got. What about you there, Gooch?
Well, you know what, man? I get into baseball, especially since we are now the Cleveland Gladiators. You know what I mean? I'm
Guardians.
I call them the Gladiators is the other team. The Guardians. I'm glad that we got away from the Indians. The city of Cleveland should be proud to change that name. That being said, there's so many dynamics, Neil, that's involved in that contract. For one, the baseball season is too long. The player salaries don't necessarily meet the attendance and all the other economic dynamics that come in. You got baseball players making like $200-300 million contracts, and I think there are some issues with the way the money is kind of like dispersed. You got super teams like the New York Yankees. You got the teams on the West Coast like the Dodgers who have like so much cash on hand to pay these players, and it's making the other teams non-competitive. So that's
the owners
going on.
Them owners disrespect them players. It was disrespectful. Y'all making all this money every year. Their revenue has gone up every year for the past 5 years. Baseball salaries has gone down. Y'all can give them more money. Y'all got the nerve to want to strike. Are y'all serious? And care less if they come back.
Right.
Well, we want to say that the numbers in baseball have steady declined.
I do have a question. Does if the MLB does not play, does that affect like the AAA teams? Do they play or no?
I don't think they do.
They play.
So the Clippers gonna play?
Yeah, they'll play.
Yeah.
But a lot of them are farm teams, though. A lot of them are farm teams, though.
I'll go down to Diamond Dog night.
Right.
I'm good.
Right.
I ain't got
again, that opens up the market. Yeah,
right.
It opens up the market for those lower teams to get more funds because now instead of going to the MLB, that experience is now going to shuffle back to those local teams like the Columbus Clippers. Again, they're going to go. They don't have to travel as far to see to see baseball because again, baseball is like the second highest sport. People really don't understand that. Besides, NASCAR, people go see baseball. So that's why MLB is such is taking over mainstream news because people want it. Like it's like in between basketball and football, you have NASCAR, golf, and you have that second sport of baseball. So
yeah, but I think their fans are dropping off. I think their fans are dropping off yearly though because people look at it like y'all making all this money. What y'all arguing over? Y'all arguing over this money? Everybody's good. It's y'all serious? Y'all, they ought to be ashamed of themselves.
Right. It's not for me when you say baseball. When I talk to sports fans, they say baseball is an experience. Like when me and Bob went to the Arizona Razorhawk, they had swimming pools. They have like whole sections for where like you having barbecues. I mean, they make it an experience versus at the football game, you have tailgating. But this is happening inside the baseball. Like these baseball are spending all this money to make sure that you have an experience. And then for me, the season just too long. The season is very long. It's more prone to get hurt. It's way too long. And so a lot of players are getting hurt.
If there's no baseball in the first 6 months, I'll be just fine.
Well, there are some other factors too. So I don't know if you guys, I ain't gonna date myself, but when most of us were kids, baseball was the prime sport. If you remember, it was baseball all over the place. You had Willie Stargell, if y'all can remember. It was and at home, we had Super Joe Charbonneau and some other well-known players, and we had never really been to a baseball game. But baseball was so dominant on TV, it got ingrained into your head. So maybe next week we'll talk about maybe baseball still being America's pastime. I don't think so. I think
no, it's football all day.
They got some geographical issues.
Yeah, I think it's
with mid-market teams. See, it's the mid-market teams that make all the money. Places like Cleveland, we don't get all the high-priced free agents because we can't afford them. So if you're not a fan of like New York, Boston, some of the historical teams, the Dodgers, you're not gonna have any interest. And that's where the problem is.
I was born not to have a lot of interest in baseball. I was born in Columbus, so we didn't have a MLB team here. We had the Clippers.
Right.
So I could care less about anything else.
But with the Clippers, boy, like Deion Sanders and all them used to come like to the
Deion Sanders. I saw Deion Sanders play. I saw Jeter play. All here. So
Jeter played.
I was able to go downtown and watch them for $5.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, $5 on a Sunday.
And get a 10-cent hot dog.
Yeah, 10-cent hot dog and a 5-cent pop.
I don't care if baseball comes back or not. We just have something else to talk about.
Yeah, we're going to talk about that next. I want to hear everybody's perspective about ML. It's baseball, America's pastime. Somebody get some stats on that and see. We can do some stats and some checks. But Cyber Dog, before you move forward in the hot topics, we got our next special guest. I know the fellas, y'all ready for this? So we have Michael Moore. He's from 07960 Sports. He covers Big Ten men's basketball for On the Move Sports Kels Media. I know our Kels is gonna like this, this conversation. So, Michael Moore, tell us a little bit about what you did today, what game you went and checked out, and just give us some stats. And I'm just gonna let you take it away.
Yeah, don't be mad at me, but go blue, go blue.
Okay. Here, you know what, like more here, everything goes here in this space.
I like there it is. You right here with me now.
Talk your shiggity.
Hey, yo, but Ohio State's atmosphere though, I'm telling you, that atmosphere was so dope. Like it was just dope the way they was trying to root their team, support them. It was senior night, so there was a lot of emotions. You know what I mean? But
tell us where you were at. Tell us first. Tell the viewers, the listeners, tell the crew where you was at, and
we was at the Schottenstein for senior day with Ohio State and Michigan. Yeah, it was senior day. I mean, they was. They
all the air out the building. All the air was sucked out of the building. So how bad was it? What time did they start walking to the exit? Give me that exact time on the clock. Was it 4:45, 3:45? What time was the car starting up, pulling out the lot?
Man, I think
we let Michael Moore talk in high school.
Yeah, please.
Hey, Rob, I think the time was about 1 minute and 9 seconds left. I seen it getting empty.
So they lost their last what? 3 out of 4?
Yeah, I think they just had a big win, but then
they
right
beat Michigan State. They lost to Nebraska and Maryland and Michigan, so they lost the last three.
You're right. You're right. Nebraska and Maryland. Yep.
Limping into the tournament. That's what we like.
Yes, they
Juwan
are.
Howard punch anybody?
Juwan Howard.
Yes, he did.
Is he there? Was he there?
I heard he was fighting in the parking lot.
And no Hunter Dickinson.
Right. So what was the difference maker for Michigan tonight? What was the difference? Like, what was the score? What was the difference maker? What was the playmakers?
All right, so check this out. When I first found out, because no one knew Hunter Dickinson wasn't going to play until about right before the game, probably a couple hours before that game. Like, he ain't make it to film, which he said was at 8:45. So he got down at 9:20, and they could see he was off. He wasn't going to play. He had a stomach ailment, throwing up all night. So I thought with Zed Key starting to work his way back in, that Ohio State was going to have their way down low, but no, I didn't go down like that. Michigan just seemed like they were a little more tougher. They kind of bullied them, if you will.
Okay,
great.
So that's pretty much what it was.
What I'm talking about.
So you think Michigan's gonna make the tournament?
Yeah.
Yeah, they're gonna squeak in.
Yeah, I think they help them out a lot. The only thing is they gotta make some noise in the Big Ten tournament. They don't play with the same energy every game though. Like they played like a do or die type game today, and they showed up. They don't come with that energy every week.
I agree.
I don't think Ohio State gonna make it past the first round. I'm sorry, I don't. Not the way they play. We don't know what they're doing right now. They helter skelter right now. I don't think they're gonna make it past the first round.
Well, to be serious, I think Ohio State major problem is they don't have a true point guard.
No,
I think that's what's kind of killing them
they
a
don't
little bit.
Have a true point guard or a true big man.
Yeah, that's a big thing. That's a biggie right there. That's a biggie. I agree.
I agree with that. Ohio State, like Troy said, the last couple of years, they don't know who they are. Like, I don't know. Like, these are veteran players. We just don't really have someone who has really stepped up to lead the team. You know how the coaches, in other Big Ten around the world, as we want to call, they have somebody that steps up. OSU hasn't found their footing. There's not one person to really lead the team. So when they go down, to bring them back up, to be in the huddle, keeping things going. Ohio State starts sulking. I don't know what it is when they get behind.
That's Liddell's job to get them motivated. He the main dog out there.
There's no true person that really wants to take that role. In the last 3 seasons, there's no person that really wants to take that role. In past, JR, Sullinger, and you had Kraft, they wanted that role. Now these kiddos that's coming in, they don't know what that role means, that leadership role, and how that formulates. Even on the football field, there's no one really standing out together. So I think when they come in at home, when they need those games, when they really, really need somebody to stand up and win, like today, they really needed this win. It was the last game of the season, going into the Big Ten tournament. That's a lot of stress. Then you got the final, the NCAA. You gotta find that leader. What is that? Who's that leader going to emerge? And OSU still has not found that. So what y'all think? So what's going to again? The Big Ten tournament is next week. So let's kind of dive in. Since we got Mike on there, who you think is going to be emerging as the number 1 seed for the men's, or have they already done that? They following the women's?
Yeah, I think probably Purdue.
I
think Purdue will get the number 1.
Because they started.
I agree with that. I mean, I agree with as far as the number 1, but if I had to say who had a chance to probably pull it out, I mean, I'll probably go with, and this is men's again, I would probably think about Indiana. It's going to be some dark horse team that's going to come in and catch everybody sleeping. That's how it always works. But I look forward to the Big Ten.
Illinois is going to be the quiet. Illinois is going to be the quiet assassin.
Well, who always is sneaky? Wisconsin. They always find their way somewhere in the mix almost every tournament, especially once they get in. They always make some noise. You can bank on that. But don't underestimate the Buckeyes. I know they looked a little wacky today, but like I said, it goes back to Liddell can score. Key is okay. They have some players. They can get somebody to step up, they'll be fine. But like Kel said, the biggest issue is the guard. If they can find somebody who can facilitate, they got a shot.
Facilitate. All right. They got to find somebody going to facilitate that ball.
Because when y'all know, man, if that hasn't been mastermind by this point, then I just don't see it walking into the kitchen when it's pitch black and cutting the light on, and it's gonna go down. So I don't think that's gonna come into play for them.
I'll give them 2 rounds. They'll get to the Sweet 16 round.
Well, I don't know, man. They're not even healthy right now. Zed Key rolled his ankle again. Michi rolled his ankle.
Sean Fady don't get past the first round. You can text that, Tanya.
Oh, I'm gonna text it. So Michigan. So Mike, what does OSU need? Since you kind of saw it from both perspectives, what do you think OSU needs, and what do you think Michigan needs as we move forward into the tournament? Not the Big Ten, but moving forward in the NCAA. What's going to think is going to be the difference maker for them to move forward?
I kind of think you hit it on the head when they don't really have almost like an identity. They don't have a leader. They don't have somebody that's almost kind of like going yank you up and get you to focus, force you to focus. Because even when Liddell after the game during his interview, yeah, he was annoyed, but it just kind of seemed like, well, I'm just going back to my room now anyway. It didn't really. I didn't see no emotion, no passion, that fire.
If Ohio State comes against a team that's got to really can really shoot, and their perimeter defense is the way they play it now, they're gonna get blew out. Their perimeter defense is terrible, and they don't have a big man down there. If they find a team that's got a big man in the block that can really play, it's a wrap. Just like Michigan's big man was killing them. Illinois' big man, I don't know how he ain't kill him. He could have killed them, but he didn't. But Michigan's big man was killing them. It's a wrap for them. I'm telling you, their perimeter defense is terrible.
Yeah.
Anybody can run on them. It is. They were going under every single screen, leaving those shooters open, and we was knocking them down.
So what was the final score?
75-69.
Ooh. Yeah.
Mike, I got a quick question for you on the Michigan side. I've been watching this player, I think maybe a junior, and I'm looking at the minutes right now. He had 24 minutes and 2 points. Brandon Johns. He's been a major underachiever because I was expecting him to flourish this year with the departure of a lot of players from last year, and he just ain't cutting the mustard. So you think, from what you've seen out of him today, is it a confidence thing, or is he just at a point where he just out there just basically just a body filling in a spot since the big man was out, sucking up time? Because I just can't figure out what's going on with this dude. I was expecting him for at least this year to at least give me 15 a night and about 6 boards.
Yeah, that's a fact. I thought he was going to do a little better too. I can't say that because he missed some shots, man. I've seen him make before some easy shots by the rim, some open perimeter shots that I know he could knock down. He's just not making them. So I don't know if it's a confidence thing. I don't know if maybe with Dickinson and now with Musa stepping up his game. I don't know if that's kind of fading him out a little bit. But he just kind of missed shots today, man. I ain't seen much else but that. It's a mental thing.
Okay, because he's really been I was expecting a lot out of him this year because I thought he was going to really come in and, at least give us 15 or 16 a night, but he just hasn't done it. So, but all righty. Thank you for that quick one because I kind of thought that.
Yeah, man. He seems more like an 8-point, 6 or 7 rebound guy at this point in time.
Hey, Mark, I got a question for you. This is not necessarily just a Big Ten question. Did anyone you specifically get to see about Mike Krzyzewski last night? I had some thoughts on there that might not agree with everyone else, but just for basketball in general, what's your thoughts on Duke and Mike Krzyzewski's retirement yesterday?
Oh, boy.
Oh, man. Well, as great as Coach K is, that's not my guy. Being a Michigan guy, I've never really liked the way Duke plays basketball, even though they constantly win. But as far as his retirement, man, I mean, besides winning his last game against UNC, that probably stung. but if you look at his career and everything he accomplished, man, that one loss ain't doing nothing as far as everything that he's accomplished. And maybe he'll go into the into the tournament and make some noise. That'll redeem him a little bit, but you gonna
he
lose
look like he tired. He look like he was ready to go.
Yeah.
He looked like he tired. He looked like he was ready to go sit down. He looked like he was ready to go sit down somewhere. He's 75 years old. Shit, he been doing this down there 30 damn years. He probably just want to go sit down somewhere.
Yeah, longer than that, man. He tired.
I disagree with you on Troy. I disagree with you on that 100%. That dude wanted that game, buddy.
He wanted that. Yes.
He wanted that game last night.
Sick. He was sick after last night, for sure.
Yeah, he was.
and the picture I love with Jay Williams grabbing his bald skull, sitting up in the stands when that clock was ticking down. Yep. I was like, that's good. I can't, because I can't stand Duke.
Yep, me neither, man.
Oh my God, I can't. You already know how I feel.
Hey, well, listen, man. I mean, you old enough now to let. I'm sorry, Mike. Y'all both can let that Fab Five situation go down. Next time, tell Chris Webber how many timeouts he have, and then you guys won't have all this hate against.
See, Neil, you a little bit correct, but mine boiled back to when I used to sit up till 2-3 in the morning watching the UNLV running Rebels.
That's right. Thank you, Kels. That's what I
that game right there. Yes. Yeah. Man, even though they chewed him up that season before, but that second season, man, that game just I went down through the floorboards watching that one.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, those are good old days, you know.
That's what had Bobby Hurley in them,
yeah. So I mean, I'm shocked. I guess I know I'm up in the years, but when I see Bobby Hurley and all them, I'm like, boy, they must have had a hard life. Good God, they look old. God, they look old as Coach K.
It's all stress, man. It's all stress.
Man, Bobby Hurley got a Bobby Hurley Sr. I don't know if y'all know much about St. Anthony's, that high school in New Jersey that was ran by Bobby Hurley. I'm talking about my whole high school life. They was winning national champ or state title after state title after state title. I mean that I don't know where the program is now, but Bobby Hurley Sr., I mean, what he did with that program with just local kids, man, I ain't never seen nothing like it at a high school level.
Yeah. I agree.
Nope.
I remember that. I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah.
He ran a program up there.
Yeah, for sure.
Wow.
I'm glad Duke lost. Go Heels.
Right. Yeah. Right.
You better stop that, Troy. You better stop that Go Heels
stuff. Say what you gotta say. Go ahead.
You better stop it.
Go ahead. Say what you gotta say.
As I called you. Hey, you had me. Hey, you got me on the road for $25 with some daggone chicken wings. I tried to double down on you, and you called me back. Okay. You called me backpedaling. Okay. Like no, you trying to get me. Trying to get me.
Let's set the record straight, y'all. This is what it was. R. Kelly lost a bet for the Bengals for $25. So
that's terrible.
He wanted to re-evaluate his bet, and he wanted to bet against Carolina and Duke last night. And I said, "Are you serious? Coach K's last game? That's an automatic."
No, that joker took it. That was a week ago. He took it. I reeled him in the boat, took that back, smacked him right in the head.
I recanted the bet and said,
and apparently I didn't hit him hard enough, and he chicken winged his way out of it.
I said, just give me my Roosters.
Yeah, but like I told you, I thank you because you saved me, because I'd have been $50 in the hole with you.
Yeah, you would have, but hey, always had confidence in your team, man. I didn't last night.
You ain't have none.
I just admitted that I didn't last night. I admitted it. I'm on the record saying I didn't admit it because look at the atmosphere. It's a ranked team against my team. They've been up and down all year. That's an automatic L in my book. So I'm not gonna take that easy L, man. Hell no. Hey, I was wrong. I didn't have confidence in my team, and I'm just give me my Roosters and keep it pushing.
You're gonna get your Roosters.
Well, really quick before we move, what do you think now with Coach Izzo walking, retiring, and now Coach K retiring. Who do you think is going to emerge? Or what coaches are really on that caliber?
Izzo retiring?
I didn't know Izzo was retiring.
But he's not really. Well, from what I heard, some of they keep saying after this year he might walk away. He might. He's been talking about retiring. So just think, if Coach Izzo leave and then Coach K, what do you think? Who would stand out? Who would be that next pillar coach in the NCAA?
I think
they better bring back Irvin.
Irvin.
I'm talking about the coaches now.
Oh, I'm talking about if Izzo leave, they need to bring back Irvin. Let him coach him. Magic
get down there. Magic have him run one play.
Let Magic coach the team and last about a half season because he got to go out and actually do some work.
I
don't think it won't be anymore. I think those days of those old coaches staying at one places for 20, 30 years.
That's a wrap.
I don't think so, Neil. I'm gonna throw two names at you.
Okay, come on.
Who
I found out. I found out due to research that Juwan Howard was a highly respected individual in the college coaching circuit. He could have been that dude. I don't know how this last altercation gonna mess with his how bad it's gonna mess up his legacy. Yeah, that was an altercation.
I'm gonna say it once again. That coach grabbed his player. That's why he slapped him. But keep going, Gooch.
But I want y'all, don't overlook, man. We got somebody historic coaching right now at a historic university, Patrick Ewing. If he can get that university and that program up and running, he will be one of them dudes. We're going to be talking about Patrick Ewing, but he got to get the program going.
Yeah, they talked about firing him last week.
Yeah. Pat was
talking about firing him
this year.
Yeah, well, I got high hopes for Pat Ewing.
Hey, Gooch, if his name wasn't Patrick Ewing, he'd be gone by now.
Yeah, that's a fact.
That's sad.
Now, that's a fact.
That's sad because he had all the notoriety in the world. I don't follow Georgetown basketball like that, but I'm pulling.
Yeah, he just can't get the bodies up there, man. I don't know what it is. But I think they got a high academic standard up there too. That's another thing at Georgetown. So that might be another thing that's kind of throwing a wrench in his recruitment.
Duke's got a high academic standard. How they getting the recruits?
Who?
You said who?
Duke. They got a high academic standard. How they getting recruits?
You know that's backdoor SAT stores. That's backdoor SAT stores.
Hey man, I think we just walked into a really good conversation for next week. We're gonna talk about. I would love to talk about colleges, how they get recruits. What's the hierarchy in the college program? Why do recruits go to Duke and not go to Georgetown, despite who the coach is? Now, Coach K he's a legend. But what about those other legendary programs that are historically good? Like Indiana's not getting them anymore. You know what I mean? Georgetown don't get them anymore.
Well,
another big program. Go ahead, Kel.
Well, you're gonna be on it next week, so hey, put it on the docket.
This is all
don't forget about my boy Penny neither.
Oh, Penny. That's right.
Yeah.
All right,
he got some young monsters down there. The thing is, if you're gonna be able to keep them together, that's gonna be the thing.
Penny's hands.
I heard Coach Huggins got caught drunk again. Where he would be at?
You just gotta dig every chance you get. He has a validated driver now, so that situation would never happen again.
He the only coach that allowed to drink on the job. He don't.
That's what I keep saying. I don't understand why he's still able to be on the job.
Hey, he got caught drinking for real.
No, I'll just make that one up. But
I was about to go.
You know, he had to throw that youth there because he got busted at UC drunk one night.
Yeah. I was about to go.
That was the downfall of the UC basketball program when he left.
Him and Corey Blunt.
Yeah, I can't wait to see.
You think Corey Blunt alone? He was serving out bricks to the community.
All right, Soccer Dog. There we go. But yeah, I just want to go really quick. Izzo is he's 66 and he was entering in this year his 27th season. So he said that he has no plans, but I know that's been like kind of like the undertone was Izzo was going to walk away, but he said he's not ready yet. But can you imagine 27 years, how many players you have seen come and go? Wow. And how the league has changed, so that'd be dude. We're gonna talk about that all next week. About
yeah, that's gonna be a good one.
Yeah, that's gonna be a good one. So, all right,
hey,
Summer Dog.
All right, I'm finishing up here. We're running short on time, so real quickly, just want everybody's thoughts about the free agents in the NFL, the Aaron Rodgers situation, Russell Wilson, anything of note. And this is also to the listeners out there. If you want to go ahead and throw that in the chat, any updates on free agency NFL? I'm gonna start with Troy.
Aaron Rodgers going out west somewhere. I'll be surprised if he ain't in a San Francisco uniform. And he's got to let they got to let him know by he got to let the team know here real soon because they got to franchise tag the wide receiver. So
okay,
and he don't want to get that franchise tag on him. So I think Aaron Rodgers is going to make a decision this week on where he's going. My pick is he's going out west. Russell Wilson going to Cleveland.
I like that.
Ooh.
They done with Baker.
Hey man, it's a lot of movement in free agency. So we already got Aaron Rodgers. I think he's gonna stay put. I really do. Green Bay is gonna make him a contract that he can't refuse. The money is gonna be there and ready. Garoppolo probably end up staying in San Fran because the one cat, the backup quarterback they just drafted, he's not ready.
Trey, what's his name? Trey, whatever.
Trey Lance.
Yeah.
Trey Lance. Yeah.
Not ready. Baker Mayfield's gonna end up staying in Cleveland. I think the biggest move is going to be like on the defense, like Jadeveon Clowney. Can the Browns afford to pay him and keep him? Because him and Myles Garrett had a great combination going on that line. But right now we don't know. But I do know that the Browns have cap space. The Steelers, who always have cap space, so they don't pay anybody. And what are the Bengals going to do in free agency with that offensive line? That's where I want to go. There are some people out there, Kels, if you're paying attention, but are your team going to pay them?
Well, right now they got to take care of Jesse Bates, which should have been done weeks ago. And then as far as the offensive line, I think you got to at least find 2 in the draft. Then you're going to they got to get veterans out there. They got to get some meat and potatoes on that line. A rookie right now, in my opinion, unless you can grab one of the top dogs coming out of Alabama, they got a killer at left tackle. But if you're not grabbing one of the elite tackles that's coming out of either Alabama, the next one is at Mississippi State. Then you got one at NC State and Central Michigan and one out of Northern Iowa. If you're not getting your hands on one of them, they got to spend that 75. They got to spend that $700 million they got on the rack and play some players.
Or they need to move up in the draft, Bob, and get some offensive lineman or something. Or
they got to go free agent route. Then another spot they got to fill is going to be at the cornerback spot. And far as quarterback wise, as far as Aaron Rodgers, he's going to end up in Green. He's going to stay at Green Bay, and San Francisco got a dilemma because Garoppolo went under the knife, and that's going to make him even more horrible than what he already is.
They talking about Tom Brady going back to San Fran.
Well,
Tom Brady
if he go to San Fran, I would take him. I would take him. Because I'm sitting here looking at this free agency list, and quarterback pickings ain't the greatest.
No, it ain't. I just want to throw a few names out there. I want to throw a few names out to y'all just on free agency. So we got Aaron Rodgers. Then you got his favorite receiver, Devontae Adams. Right now, the Packers can't afford to pay both of them. So who stays?
That's why I said they're going to franchise.
They're going to franchise
wide receiver.
Okay.
That's why I said I think Aaron Rodgers is going out of there. That's my opinion. I think Aaron Rodgers is out of there.
Right. And then Kels, we got Ron Armstead from the Saints, offensive tackle. The Bengals could use him.
Yeah, like they got to get veterans. And then Al just brought a point. And Tanya, your star-studded Cowboys is getting rid of Cooper.
I was waiting for self-inflicted Cowboys. Listen, I don't even know where to begin with them trying to get rid of Amari Cooper. One of Dax, he already has all the, to me, all the money when he really didn't do what he says. You have Ezekiel who's done anything in the last 3 years. So to me, and I love it's to him. He's able to go long. He's able to go, he's able to take those longer throws. He just has he's just disinterest. I think you know how it is when you love a game because he was a little kid. I think they need to move. I think he needs to go somewhere else. They're trying to franchise tag, and I'm still kind of, new. I ain't new to it, but just like understanding what that is when you franchise tag. Right. So, a player, and
that means that player.
But a lot of Cowboys, we got a lot.
So Troy, what about your Chicago Bears? What's the duct tape and glue that you need?
They need a lot.
Bunch of glue for the Cowboys.
They need a lot. They need a running back. They need a couple wide receivers. They need an offensive lineman. They need a deep. They need a cornerback. They need the gamut. So I see them going back to the lottery next year too. I don't have no high hopes for them. But as far as Amari Cooper, they paying Amari Cooper all that money, but he ain't playing up to that star wide receiver. They paying him star wide receiver money, and he's not a star right now. He ain't had. I mean, that's why they cut him.
They paid
all he ends up in Cleveland.
And
what'd you say?
They didn't play. We supposed to went to the Super Bowl and we didn't. Like we went out again in the first round. So we need a wide receiver. We need some offensive linemen. I mean, we need a whole secondary. And just like Beasley, he was in the news. He was trending because he was talking about it until they change some front office personnel. There will be no changes.
They talking about cutting your running back.
Yeah, Beasley had a great point.
They talking about cutting Zeke.
Yeah, and he needs to be cut.
I would agree. I mean, that's dead weight.
I agree.
And talk about the Cowboys. I hope Jerry Jones is okay. I heard he wasn't feeling too good at the combine. So, real talk. I'm just saying. I hope old Jerry all right. Heard they had to take him back to they had to put a blue tent up. And
I know Cooper had dude, but I think Cooper just needs another year. So, I don't know. The Cowboys, they do very well. Again, they had another team too. There was not a leader. Dak is not a leader. So who was going to emerge? Zeke at
Cooper
one time
got all that money, and Zeke got all that money. It's killing y'all cap right now. Y'all got to get rid of one of them, and they just picking Cooper over Zeke.
I would get rid of
Cooper, but I know that's about right. That makes sense.
I agree with you, Neil. I think it makes sense too. Y'all, I mean, he didn't play he didn't play up to his money potential.
Well, Zeke
he getting paid star money. He's not playing like a star.
Zeke ain't going. Zeke's not going nowhere.
Zeke got to go. Zeke, on running backs is not long.
We already know it's going to be
Cooper. Y'all backup running back outballed him this year.
Sure did.
To be honest with you, Pollard. What's his name? Pollard.
Outblaze. Outblaze.
He outballed Zeke this year. So I mean, maybe they need to go back and discuss Zeke's contract. Their contracts ain't guaranteed in the NFL.
Need to go move Pollard into there first. Let Pollard, because Pollard balled out, and that's why Zeke. They bring him in. Like when you look at Zeke and over the years, Zeke was like the finisher. These last 3 years, he couldn't finish. He don't know how to finish out.
He got a lot of miles on him, though. He got a lot of miles on him, man. He got a lot of miles on him.
It might be them purses they wear to the game. It might have something to do with
them bags.
I'm like, what the hell is that? But I don't know.
That's the man person. That's the man purses that these men want to carry. That's a man purse and a man bun.
Okay. All right. Well, hey, we're going to run out of time here, but I just want to make sure I touch on this one topic before we get done. Okay. And I just want to put everybody in their frame of mind at this time. 2 years ago on March 9th, the first COVID case in Ohio was reported in Cleveland, Ohio. It was 3. Then after that, just like the world changed, went upside down. Sports in particular, we talked about the bubble win for the Lakers that year. I just want to get y'all guys' view on how the pandemic affected sports, and let's talk about what happened over the last 2 years. And glad we are in a better place than where we were. So I'll let you start off, Tanya.
For me, as an educator, and in the middle of the pandemic, we had the riots. I was working for Amazon, and that's when I really got to see racism truly for what it was in our city. Not even talking about the country, just in our city. Racism was always prevalent, but to literally really see it in an open space and how you were able to kill somebody in the middle of a pandemic. This was all happening in a pandemic. We were home. And for me, I'm a social person. So I went and got on the truck just so I could get some interaction. So for me, it was really a hard time. Kobe died, then you had George Floyd died. Then you had Breonna Taylor. Then you had the little boy that got killed when he was running. I'm sorry, what his name? There was what's his name?
Ahmaud Arbery.
It was Ahmaud
Arbery.
Yes. Yes. 5 or 6 deaths in the middle of the COVID. So I think for me, COVID allowed us to see what the world truly was. And African-American people, we became a voice that was louder and stronger. For women, women just really just kicked down a door. We broke the glass ceiling that was there, and it just broke it open. And for sports, I think even sports, you got to see sports in a different level. You kind of got an inside view of how the Roni effect. You got to see how coaches and owners were how coaches were being affected by owners positions, things that they were putting in place, and it trickled down to the players. How the players really, from black to white, really took what Colin Kaepernick did a few years ago, and it thrust it right into society. All behind COVID. COVID shut down everything. And where you see Black Lives Matter on a hardwood in the middle of a national season, that changes the game. It changes the narrative. Where you see millennials have a voice. They change. They open it wide open to how we wanted to be treated. Just in politics and money, negotiations, how you were going to deal with my initiatives, and you gonna put it on my back. I'm gonna wear it. Yes, is it still work to be done? But you know what? I think Colin Kaepernick started it, and then they opened it wide open when COVID happened. So that's my perspective on it. What about you, RKL?
Thank you. All right. Well, first of all, it's Colin, not Colin Kaepernick.
You wait till we get off this
air. You correct the host. That's your wife.
Hey. Wow.
He said, "Colin,
I'm just throwing out a hook to help her out."
You just messed up my little segment, my little sentiments.
It was a nice segment. I'm just making you keep the name straight. Shoot, some of y'all got on me last week when I threw the knife in the toilet. Shoot.
Oh, that was hilarious.
Hey,
go ahead.
His mama called him Colin. I'm gonna call him Colin.
Thank you, Colin Kaepernick, RKL.
There you go.
Sorry about that.
There you go.
Hey, now you can go ahead. Now you forgot what you're gonna say. Now go ahead.
No, look, this I'm just gonna feed off of what she said, and she's 100% right. As far as society getting a bird's eye view, what was really going on behind the scenes in the world, and it's still, in my opinion, at a standstill. You still got cops out here disrespecting our people night in and night out. And far as there being some type of solution, I couldn't tell you how that can play out. But as far as the virus affecting sports, it was an eye opener. man, it was far as me, not going to work for almost 2-3 months. It's just, and I didn't got comfortable being at home, and going back in, it's a stomach churner. But we got to get back to our way of life, and things got to get right. What's going on over with Russia, and that situation is going to affect us. It's starting to affect us big time. So I know I went out to the gas pump yesterday, and it's at what, 380, 390 right now. And they talking about another month or so. If this keeps going on, it's going to be almost $5 plus a gallon.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So passing it on to Gooch.
Yeah, hey Kels, I had the experience with the gas this morning. Actually, it was like sticker shock. I looked at that sucker, said 403. I said 403 for what? Is that like am I getting 2 for 1? It was crazy. So you know what, man? I think sometimes we underestimate how much sports impact our life day to day. Now I don't know if you guys remember when the shutdown started. We were watching reruns of old games because we didn't have sports for almost 3 weeks. And when they did launch sports, it just didn't feel the same. The whole college football that season with no fans in the stands, and it was out there just running around. The NBA stepped out because they're more than likely the most progressive league in sports right now. And they decided to put folks in a bubble, stuff that we had never witnessed and seen before. To have that, as Troy would say, that bubble championship. You know what I mean? But I admire, and I can get deep on this. I'm sorry. I admire the folks who overcome and find solutions to bad situations. You know what I mean? It wasn't a perfect outcome, but it was the best outcome for what we were dealing with. So that being said, think of all the dynamics that were involved in the pandemic. So I recently went back to work in the office last year, and I told my wife, I said, they're going to send us back. Because all the financial dynamics behind it, they had to keep the economy up and running, even if it was at the risk of losing folks' lives. So at that point, I realized that money and economics really play a big factor in our lives. The sports had to, because the economy was there, the vendors, the people, the commercials, all that stuff. It impacted everybody. And like Kel said, even right now, we're getting impacted. Even a year later, we're feeling impacted by gas prices and food, and folks was buying up all the damn toilet paper in the stores. We saw some crazy stuff happen. But the good thing is that, like I said, we get to overcome it all. And I do think we're going to end up in a better situation just because, like Tanya said, a lot of stuff was put out there in the open and we got to see it.
All right, Troy.
I just feel blessed to make it through the COVID situation. As far as my family, friends, nobody was really affected by it. I got to keep my job. You guys got to keep your job. So that was awesome. I do think that I agree with Gooch that sports did play a big part of it because we didn't realize how much we love sports until it went away. So it was a big factor. I think we still gonna have to deal with it, unfortunately, until they lift these restrictions and whatever not. But I just try to stay safe and just be blessed every day of what I can control, and I can't. There's things I can't control, and I just try to roll with the punches. So we did get that bubble championship, though.
Will said, everybody. Will said, everybody. I work in the healthcare industry, and I've been there. This is my 34th year working in there in the hospitals. During the pandemic, it was you gave your nurses, your doctors a lot of credit, but it was a lot of other folks that had a lot to do with it. It was like respiratory therapists. It was food service. It was EVS, the people that normally don't get the credit. But I think to Troy point, we were all blessed to come out of it. Unfortunately, I did know a few people who passed on. I mean, 1 million people died in the United States alone, or roughly 1 million, or close to it. The Arnold was I think part of our thing here in Columbus, if you remember, they canceled the Arnold right as it started. Mm-hmm. Come to find out that was one of the smartest moves they ever made, the leaders here in Columbus. Can you imagine if they had went ahead and let the Arnold go? Can you imagine?
That'd have been bad.
Yeah.
It'd have been a lot of folks in Ohio.
Yeah. It would have swept. COVID would have swept Columbus. Because look at it right now. A year later, 2 years later, the Arnold.
2 years later,
and they said it was 250,000 people down at the Arnold.
Right.
So,
hey, speaking of the Arnold, did y'all see that new competition they got where they slapping each other?
No.
I think I passed on that one.
You see that, Neil?
I seen it, Troy. It's the craziest thing in the world, man.
I ain't never seen nothing like that before in my life. You just gotta stand there and get slapped.
Cats out here.
You ain't never seen that before. That's a big thing, man. They got actual contests for that. That's a big thing. I ain't never seen that before
in my life, bro.
That's a big thing now.
I got an idea of what the competition is probably called, but and I want to, I'll be careful with my listeners. I don't want to say nothing too bad. But is that competition called a bitch slap out?
I don't know what it's called.
I don't know, but you just gotta stand there and take it.
The BSO, the bitch slap out.
Would you? Hey, I should be saying, would you do it if it was $1 million?
Hell no, man. They'll change the name of the competition once I get slapped once.
They said you got to keep your chin up or don't get knocked out. That's how you win.
Yeah.
That's how you win.
If you.
Yeah. And there's some heavy-handed dudes doing it. I'm talking dudes that's on construction crews that does that. I'm talking hands that's like granite. Man, I'm telling you, Google it. You will be in tears watching that.
If that was on TV, would y'all watch it as a live event?
Yes, sir. I would DVR it. I would DVR it.
What scares me is there's probably some weird technique to smacking somebody that we really didn't know.
Yeah, you're right.
Man, I'm telling you, Goose, man, they be sitting there sizing you up. They'll take their hand, they'll swing their hand back like that. I'm telling you, it's the craziest thing. But people making money off of it. People making money off of it.
I saw it for the first time yesterday on the news, and I was like, "What the hell is that? Are they serious?" That's
a down south thing. It's more down south. That's where that's originated from.
I was bugging when I saw that.
Well, I'm sure no one participated that looked like anybody on this panel.
No, ain't no way. Because Cyberdog, what you say was gonna happen if you got slapped?
It's gonna be a fight. They gonna change the name of the contest. I know what the name of the contest is. I know what the name of the contest. What did the 5 fingers say to the face?
Slap.
Oh my gosh. Yo,
they had women up there too doing it. I was like, damn,
I'm telling you, man, that used to be like an underground event, and somehow somebody got somebody mainstreaming it.
Because you think about when you was in the club back in the day and somebody got slapped, that was automatically a brawl. That was nothing else.
Yeah.
You got slapped in the club.
Either that or you're gonna catch a case.
You gonna get your case. Like, what? You slapped me? That is just like, no, that's like spitting.
Right.
That's like spit.
It's almost like how they took their shoe off and threw it at George Bush that time. Y'all remember that man took his shoe off and threw it at Bush?
He was like this.
That's over in that country. That's almost like spitting on somebody. When you take your shoe off and throw it at somebody.
I was watching the highlights. They were slapping the sweat off people, man. I was like, man, he hitting him hard.
I'm telling you, Google it. You will get a good laugh out of that.
Arkel, you or Troy, put that under go into or live and put that show us the clipping, because I know in our school, you slap somebody, that was an all-out brawl out. It was nothing else said. You didn't have
school shut down.
It's disrespect. That's disrespect.
Disrespect. That's like spitting. You slap somebody and you gonna be like, oh.
But you gotta look at that like the UFC. That was underground.
Right.
And now it's mainstream, and everybody love it.
Well, they making big money with that U.S. You ain't gonna kick my
Hey,
leg.
R.
That was
Kelly,
one thing.
if you was a
didn't
wrestler,
kick nobody
what would your
when you was in
name be?
school. This like they
What?
took school.
That's a good question. That's a good question.
Hey,
That's a good question.
You know what? This is for the panel. If everybody on the panel was a wrestler, I want to know what your name would be. I'm gonna start with you, Troy.
Oh, damn! You put me on the spot. What would your name be, Troy? Oh man!
Come on, Troy. You got one. You better come up with one before I come up with one for you, okay?
I'll be violating SEC rights. I'll just be Big T.
Big T.
Big T.
Hell.
We go a long way with that.
I can't say what I really want to say. I can't say what I really want to say.
I'll say it.
Nah, Big T.
All right. Big T. All right, Gooch.
You know what mine is. Gooch Dog.
Gooch Dog.
Kill.
Oh man. That's a rough one. Oh, here you go. Go ahead. Let me hear it.
Oh no, I ain't gonna do that. I just can see you as the wolf. You'll come out as the Wolverine, and you had it over.
No, you ain't want to say that, you dirty rat.
And y'all thought he was a double for Nacho Libre.
Y'all wrong.
Hey, Tanya, what would yours be? What would your wrestling name?
My name? Mine's is Zipper T. Because I was growing up, I used to have like this little piece of zipper, this coat, Troy will tell you. And I was like, if I get to arguing and fighting, I'm going to wind that shirt up. And one sting with that zipper, you're going to roll all the way back. Get hit with a zipper. End up a zipper.
Hey, you get hit with a zipper, that's like getting slapped.
That's like
that's gonna be a nice little mark.
Yeah,
almost a permanent one.
Zipper T. I ain't playing no games. You didn't get it on
that's
me.
Worse than one. That's getting hit worse than a switch.
Because you don't know what's coming. They think you trying to swing. You start with that zipper. That's the first. That gives you about 5 seconds to get away.
Hey, you would think to fight if you get hit with a zipper. You were thinking like, okay, I'm good.
Yep.
Oh, that's gonna leave a good mark. Yeah, that's gonna leave a good scrape mark.
Yes, it did. They be like, I'm not messing with you, Tanya. You always trying to hit somebody with your zipper. Yep. Don't play around. I'm trying to hit me and tackle me to the ground. I'm gonna hit you with that zipper. So you charge.
R. Kelly, what you got from the from the desk news this week?
Yeah,
I know.
I got a quick one for you today, man. It once again off of stupidity.
Straight off from the press.
Well, since Moscow's a hot topic, that's where we head.
Okay.
WNBA All-Star Brittany Griner was arrested last month for having cartridges of cannabis going through the airport, vapor cartridges, and still locked up to this day. And I don't think she's gonna get out due to the tension that's going on between the countries right now.
No, you missed the point. She had vapes in Russia.
Yeah, Russia. That's what I'm saying. Moscow.
She might not be coming home.
They're talking about it is a high possibility. 98.999. She gonna do 10 years in a Russian prison.
That's
terrible. That's hard. That's terrible.
That's horrible. And they didn't even call it like hashing oil.
Hashish oil.
Hashish oil.
It's just vape. It's just vape. It's just your vape oil.
Like, didn't you understand what's going on for you to be in a airport?
She probably got away for it so long. She probably got away with it so long. She probably was thinking about it.
Man,
look. Do you think she'll ever get out?
No.
Oh, they talking about this. They talking about the way they were talking about this, that the tensions is so high with this war, and the NATO putting all these sanctions on Russia. She ain't budging.
Wow.
So she might as well go ahead and get on that interleague squad in the prison unit and light it up.
Man.
Yeah, they can't wait to make an example. They want to make an example out of people. So
Oh, no doubt.
Especially if you're a U.S. citizen. So it's gonna be hard coming for her.
She's a big time star.
So doggone ruthless, dog. He might count
no one even knew who she was. Because no one knew who she was until the Russian.
Well, she's been over there for at least a couple months now. The news just coming out.
She had been over
she's been over there. She's been over there. She's been locked up for a month.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, but when they detained her, the customs didn't release her name. The Russian list released her name to the public.
Oh, wow.
Hey,
my thing is now, come on now. That's like you catching a cruise somewhere. Now, you really gonna be trying to bring some back on the? I mean, just to something that's gonna last you maybe a month. Come on now, you gotta have some common sense, man. And she getting locked up in the wrong spot because I know they probably got her somewhere where it's brick ass cold, and she in there with some big burly women.
Well, I'm sure she's comfortable with that.
I don't know, dude. I'm pretty sure she's taking it on the chin, man.
It was too easy.
All we gonna say is that we hope for her safety.
It was too easy. I'm sorry.
We just hope for her safety because I can't even imagine what she's going through right now. Then with everything,
right. We don't know.
No.
Dude, man, I'm telling you, she a lightweight over there. I'm telling you, them Russian women, she in trouble over there. That's all I gotta say.
Hey, I was watching the news and I saw this lady from the Ukraine lifting like 12 45s and running it with a barrel, lifting up a barrel with wheels on it, and running it down a hallway. So yeah, she might have an issue.
Yeah, she in trouble over there, man. She in trouble.
That she wouldn't come because I can't even imagine like your family and your friends, and now that it's now newsworthy. People, like you said, people didn't even know it was even happening. They didn't even know she had been detained that long until again the Russian news, released her name. No one knew she had been over there for a month, and now everyone was like, "Wow, you've been over there for a month." And just a lot of, I know there's an Indiana basketball player. He walked 8 miles from the Ukraine to Poland because they wouldn't allow him on the train. So there's a lot of, again, a lot of U.S. players that are caught up in this, conflict that are trying to get home.
That's sad that they still can be racist during a dang war. That's some deep stuff to me.
This is the real sad part. The sad part is she just won a championship for the Phoenix Mercury, didn't she? Did she win a championship?
Mercury, yeah.
So that just tells you that they don't make enough money in the WNBA that she got to go play in Russia.
That league is disrespected.
Right.
I don't know why they do.
She got to win a championship, then go over to Russia and play. Come on, bro. They need to pay them girls more money so they had to deal with this.
Right. Well, you know what? Y'all just gave me another topic.
Go ahead and write that topic down, Duke.
So
that's gonna be another topic.
Next. I'm gonna highlight some stuff for next week. We're gonna run through it, but we do need to talk about last year. Ty, you may remember this. The women were mad because they kept saying it was the women's tournament and they never called it the Final Four. Just the whole marketing for women's sports is so off. Yeah. So off, Troy. That goes along with what you're saying.
I agree.
Well, I mean, and you know what? And I don't want to
even how they put it, even with the equipment. Talk about the equipment that they provided for the women last year.
They gave them some tuna fish sandwiches and some rice.
It had not been for the women actually going
to the what a whole bunch of folks ate.
Yeah, it was a whole bunch of mess last year.
I want to say this too.
Preparation. Yeah, we got.
I don't want to sound sexist, Tanya. I don't want to sound sexist, but I think what the WNBA should do is take from that one league that we talked about last week with the ladies playing football in the bikini. No, y'all laughing. And I was just watching the women's game just a few minutes ago, and the girl had her hair real short, and I didn't know if it was men or women's. So
I'm done. I'm gonna see y'all later. Goodbye.
I'm just saying. No, man, I'm not.
Give us a rundown, Goose. I ain't put on what's up,
Come on,
Give us
Tanya.
a
Hit the
rundown
button.
for next week.
hit the button. I'm done after that one.
Hey, I'm telling you now, whatever you over there drinking on, it's getting confiscated. So whatever that you got on your menu, Neil, it's getting confiscated.
Hey man, listen, I'm not a sexist. I want to help these women, man. I want to help them get some viewership.
Okay, Gooch, give us the rundown for next week. Give us the rundown.
Man, I got some other stuff, but I just think we hit on some good stuff today. We're gonna do some WNBA and women's basketball marketing. We're gonna talk about the women's Final Four because all the brackets and everything should be ready by the time we at least close to being ready. Big Ten tournament coming up. We're gonna do a little bit of free agency on NFL. We're gonna keep our eye on that after the combine results. And most importantly, we're going to get back to talking about LeBron James and see what happened since he scored his 56 points and so much more coming up next week.
So much more.
Get ready for a big letdown. Get ready for a big letdown.
So great show, fellas. Thank you to our special guest, Mike Moore from 09760 Sports, from Ocon. Apex Radio, New Americans Magazine, who was there, and just kind of really quick, the score for the Iowa and Indiana. See, that's why I wanted my girls to be in there. The last time we looked at was 45-39. I'm gonna do a really quick check, and then we're gonna be out of here.
Who winning?
So, for the Big Ten championship right now, they're in quarter 3 with 121 left. It is 49 Iowa to 46.
Whoa.
Okay. Tune in.
There's been a couple changes, been a couple league changes. Second quarter was 7, before the half was 17-17, 13-14. So right now, 46-49 with Iowa up. Wow.
All right.
Sounds like we need to tune in.
Tune in. So all right, fellas, we out. So this is another episode, Sportz Wine and Brew. I'm T. Kels. We got R. Kels, Cyber Dog, Troy, and Gooch. Have a wonderful week. Enjoy this beautiful weather, and we will see you next Saturday at 1 o'clock. 1 o'clock is going to be our new time. 1 o'clock. So
word.
Bring your drink, bring your brew, and let's get it.
Word.
The Big Ten.
Keep the mask on. Keep the mask on.
All right, y'all.
And we gotta look at RKLs talking trash there with that.
No, I'm saying keep the mask on. Shoot, they trying to keep them on.
Oh yes, mask mandate. Mask mandate is released as of March the 8th.
Okay.
There will be no more mask mandate. So
hey Tanya,
everybody will be free not to have a mask on.
Hey Tanya, did you see like where the WNBA, like somebody, they got fined for their charter flights or something like that? What was up with that?
I know. I was going to talk about it, but I see that we hit on that next week.
I don't understand what happened. Why they get fined?
I didn't either. I was just like, wow. I saw the story and I was like, okay, I'm gonna have to get deeper because again,
they got fined like a lot of money for something that had to do with their charter flights. Like they're not allowed to charter flights.
No,
I think they pay for their own charter flight. I think that's what it was.
Which I don't understand that. He said the whole marketing piece. We're gonna talk about that. So, Sportz Wine and Brew, we out.
Peace.
All right, y'all.
Have a good week, folks.
All right, y'all. Peace.